Do you know who I really am? Maybe if you look closer. Oh, God.
The guy in the yellow suit, he's back. When the sun comes up tomorrow, I want to be ready to put shovels in the ground. Look at those bones. What do you want?
You know what the others are doing?
Hey, buddy. Hey, Victor, come on. Hey,
Do you like games? I love them. I'm playing so many right now.
They're coming.
That's what this is, the quest. And everyone has a part to play. Sometimes the quest can be scary. And when it gets close to the end, that's when it gets really scary.
Okay, ding-dongs. If you don't subscribe to Jeremy Ice and Fire, you're gonna spend the night in the box.
Welcome to Talking, from the live podcast produced by Indy Radio, where we break down the mystery, the terror, and the twists of the hit TV series. Hosted by Jen and Kinte, this is the show where we review every shocking moment, every haunting question, and every chilling clue. And from strangers find themselves trapped in a mysterious town they cannot leave, forced to survive against deadly creatures that come out at night, while uncovering the dark secrets hidden all around them. You can watch from on MGM Plus. Get ready for live reactions, deep discussion, bold theories, and real talk about one of television's most unsettling shows. And now, here are your hosts, Jen and Kinte.
All right, welcome to an all-new episode of Talking From. We have so much to talk about in this penultimate episode of Season 4 From. I'm going to waste zero time and introduce my co-host, Kinte. Kinte, how are you?
I'm doing great. This is literally the calm before the storm. I'm looking forward to talking about this episode. And shout out once again to Jeremy Ice and Fire. There's so many people that are so cool to put like great content for From and other programs. And sometimes us other content creators will just borrow from them, but we won't say where we got it from. So I just wanted to give a shout out to people like that who put great content out there.
Absolutely. There is some amazing From content over on TikTok with people weighing in on some very odd theories, some fairly well-designed theories, and some I don't know if we're watching the same show theories. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good though. Let's get right into it. So give me sort of your overall idea of what you thought this episode was going in and then what actually happened, because wow, I was absolutely astounded.
Well, you know what? I have to give myself a shout out because it was what I thought it was going to be.
Nice.
I figured it was going to end kind of at the beginning of, of the mission, right? And so in that regard, I was correct. But also, I have to say that the episode was very entertaining, very thrilling. And boy, that ending made me I can't wait for the finale. It's weird though, because it's like on some levels you can't wait for it, but then there's like it's kind of sad too.
I think as the episodes tick by with season 4, and we know that there is only going to be one more season, which I mean, in some ways I'm really excited about because I really need answers. But in other ways, it is definitely going to feel a bit like grieving because we've been with this show for so long and it has been a roller coaster of emotion. And this episode, I think, really captures that roller coaster ride. We had everything from a lot of hope and more of the idea that belief is what you need in order to survive, and a lot of doubt and the dark places that doubt can bring you. And then we had Elgin, who just sort of stumbled into the wrong thing at the wrong time. We'll get into that. Um, I just felt like that was such a funny thing. Like everybody else is dealing with such huge things, and poor Elgin just stumbles into something, and boy, not looking so good for him. So let's start where we left off. We literally pick up this episode where last episode left off with the idea that the man in yellow has been in Tabitha's home. Tabitha goes to Boyd and says, the talismans aren't working here. So what is this thing? And I thought that was really interesting because I have heard several ideas about why the talismans don't work with the man in yellow. And I wanted to get your opinion. What do you think?
I just think he's another. He's something different. He's not what the monsters are. So he doesn't play by the same rules. So therefore, the talismans don't do anything. But he has some sort of weakness. At some point, we'll find out what it is. But he definitely has some fears. So, but we got to find out exactly what it is. But I think that's pretty much the thing with him.
I found it super interesting that Sophia, the man in yellow / Sophia, has such I'll call it an integral role, but I'll also say that he has such a odd way of being involved. Obviously he is capable of violence. He killed Jim, but also there is this cat and mouse thing kind of going on. So I really want to discuss with you, and I know we're going to kind of jump around a little bit, but if you will indulge me. Partway through the episode, we see Victor at the graves of Eloise and his mom, Miranda. And so that was heartfelt enough. But then the boy in white comes in and tells Victor, did you know that they're going to try to take down the bottle tree? And then he says to Victor, hey, you can't do that, in sort of his own boy in white way. And so almost in that moment, right, I had reaffirmed to me something that I have been thinking about ever since ever since Tabitha saw the boy in white out in the forest, and he said to her, you're not asking the right questions. And that is, I don't know if the boy in white is as white lighter as maybe we think he is. And again, what's your opinion on that? Do you sense any changing in sort of the tone of how they're presenting him?
Yeah, I do feel like it, because I think we're getting closer to some of the answers. So therefore, you have the boy in white not being as cryptic, but still being cryptic, if that makes any sense.
It does.
So yeah, I think because we're getting closer to the end. So I think that's kind of what it is.
So,
and, one more thing too is I have a character list. It's done with AI, so some of the people don't look like they're supposed to look. But so this might help us sometimes when we need to figure out who's who and what is what.
I think
with each
one of
character.
the issues is that because so many people
I love
have been
Ellis. He looks
reincarnated,
nothing like
it's-
that. Yeah, or
that's tough.
Victor.
Oh yeah, or Victor. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Even Ethan looks a little different.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I am going to say, and I've had this feeling for a bit, but I kind of wonder at this point if the boy in white and the man in yellow are not two sides of the same coin, but like maybe they are working cross purpose, but only as like, you know how like if you bet somebody something, or if you like wager something, you don't want the other person to win, but it's not, you're not unfriendly with them, you know. You're just like, okay, but no, it kind of like the guys from trading spaces, you know, where they were like, hey, let's do this experiment and see if we can get this really poor person to behave like he's a rich person. I have that feeling about this, and I don't exactly know why, but it feels to me like the whole idea of them being kind of on the same page might be more it might be more akin to what's going on than just like, hey, the boy in white is trying to help them. Because I mean, I think that Tabitha's right. Why doesn't he show up? Right. I mean, if the man in yellow can show up, why does the boy in white only show up cryptically once in a great while? I saw somebody's theory, which I thought was like super interesting, and I don't know what to make of it, but somebody said, well, what if they pull up the bottle tree? And because we are dealing with like these sort of multi-timeline things, what if that becomes the tree that falls across the road? And I thought that was interesting, but not really all that. I mean, like, it was an interesting idea, but I wonder, why do you think the boy in white is saying don't pull up the bottle tree?
I think the boy in white is trying to warn them, and I believe that he's doing it not for nefarious reasons, but he's trying to tell them that it's, you know, it's going to be bad if they do that.
Do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I agree.
But what is it that you think is going to happen?
No idea.
See,
I have no idea.
You know, at first I thought, okay, well, maybe this is, if they pull the bottle tree up, then it's kind of like, you know, a cork stopping up, you know, a hole. And so maybe that's why, you know, because like, okay, well, that'll just let the creatures out, but the creatures don't come out until night anyway. And so then I was like, I don't know, that doesn't sound exactly right. And the one thing that has carried in my head throughout this episode is the man in yellow via Sophia saying, this place works according to ritual. Like, there's a way that you have to do things, not just you have to do things. How you do them is just as important as what you do. And so I thought that was, maybe that's part of it. Maybe like the bottle tree has something to do with a different ritual that we just don't know. You know, I'm starting to feel like there is no way possible for us to, even with a whole other season, how are we going to close everything? All of these loopholes, all of these,
we're not.
I mean, like, I'm starting to feel like, okay, look, I've just been set adrift in this ocean of awesome storytelling, and I'm not going to be able to understand where it came from or why things are happening. I just have to enjoy the ride. That's where I'm at. So.
Oh yeah, we're not going to get everything. That's for sure. And there's going to be people so upset.
That the more that I get into this, the more I'm wondering. Yeah, I kind of feel like that could be very true. Okay, so we talked a little bit about Victor and the bottle tree. Let's talk about what happens with him as soon as he confronts Boyd and says, I hear you're going to pull up the bottle tree. I'm going to stop you. To me, that whole scene just felt so much like Victor is just 7 years old. And, you know, he's saying, I'm going to stop you no matter what. And Boyd putting him in handcuffs. Oh my God. I don't know about you, but that was a tough scene. What did you think?
This is one of those situations where I believe that Victor's probably right. Unlike other times where I'm not quite sure if he's all right. But I mean, if he's right. And the one time they should listen to him, they didn't listen to him. You know, so and then this is just me going off of what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Kudos to him for trying to stand up for what he believes in. So.
Yeah, well, I feel like this sort of shows us how impacted Victor has been by the boy in white, right? Not having anybody else to count on, talk to, whatever. And he just takes whatever the boy in white says as this is the gospel. I don't know. I am having my doubts about this just a little bit, but we'll see. Okay, so while we're sort of in this vein of what they're going to do, I really want to talk about the Matthews family and what's going on, because the scene with Tabitha, Julie, and Ethan at the table talking about what is going to happen and that the man in yellow is in the house, and Julie to me is a character who has fallen so far from her original I have hope to I have none, like zero, less than zero, is so tragic to me. Oh my gosh, I really felt that. And I just wanted to get your take. What do you think is going on with Julie at this point?
I think that the last time that she story walked and it didn't come out the way that she hoped, just took it from her. I think she was so hopeful and she felt like that she could affect, change by going back in time, saving her father. And when it didn't work, she lost all hope. So now it's like, she's given up.
I think an interesting thing happened the last time that she story walked. I think that she took Randall too close to his word. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying that Randall is in any way, shape, or form acting as a foil, but doubt. Oh, and then of course, wait, there's the other piece, right? So there's the Randall piece, which is you're just giving yourself seizures, which doesn't even make any sense, because why do you have to walk into a certain place in the town to give yourself seizures? I mean, come on, Julie. Like, I get it, but also, no, I don't get it. But then the second part was her talking to Sarah, and Sarah being so dismissive of anybody's ability. Sarah, who has talked to the voices of this town. Sarah, who has had the most intimate exposure, other than, as we found out in this episode, Clara, to the town itself. And she is counseling Julie not to have faith. I mean, wow. That was just, it shows you how incredibly powerful belief and self-doubt is in this place. It is so hardwired into certain people that it changes their whole personality. Like, I mean, and I did find this really funny, not funny, but like really strange. Do you remember back in the episode before this when Julie says to Sarah something about, what do you miss the most? And she says donuts. And Sarah says, I forgot donuts completely, as if like a memory had been stolen from her. And I just wanted to like sort of take a little bit of a story beat on that, because I think that is one of the things that the town does to you. It grinds down not just your core hope, but also the memories that you have. Because remember, Victor didn't even remember Eloise. He didn't even remember her. That's his sister.
Right.
So, you know, I just think that that is worth a pause around. Not necessarily, you know, I don't know what's going on with it, but it does seem important. Okay, who else do we have in this episode? We'll get to Jade and Tabitha going into the cave, but oh, I know. Let's talk about Fatima. Okay, wait. Let's not talk about Fatima. Let's talk about Sophia, and we'll talk about Sophia in sort of sections. When Sophia talks to Clara, first of all, what'd you think about that whole "why don't you look closer"? Oh, yeah, that's it. That scene right there. That was scary as heck.
I didn't remember Clara.
Oh, I remember Clara was the one that was always stealing everybody's clothes in the very
Yeah,
beginning.
I mean, I had forgotten about. Maybe I should say I've forgotten about Clara.
Oh, okay.
Because I can't remember though. When was the last time they actually showed her?
Yeah, she's definitely in the background, but she is definitely very present.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't remember the last time we. You know, it's interesting that they brought her and made her, you know, such a focus. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought, because I saw it from the trailer, and I was like, I thought that was pretty interesting that they, you know, that you were using her so prominently, but I thought it was pretty good because I didn't realize that, because he's never done that as far as to my knowledge, anything like that kind of let on who he is or who she is or whatever, you know. And I thought that was pretty interesting that she did that because she needed a foil. So the promise of getting home plus the fear of what the man in yellow, aka Sophia, could do to her, you know, led her to make those decisions. Can you can you blame her, or do you think she should have spoke up, or what's your thought?
Well, I feel like she is in the same exact position that Sarah finds herself in continually, in that she is afraid to move forward, but also afraid to move backwards. Like, confronting whatever this evil is in the town is terrifying. And I think for Clara, it's even more personal than it is for Sarah, because at least for Sarah, it seems like she's a little bit more removed from it. But with Clara, it's quite obvious that she has had a very intense encounter at some point, whether it's, you know, the voices or whether it's something else that has really kind of gotten into her whole being and made her both hopeful you'll get to go home and fearful and so yeah, that's sort of the way that I view that. But I will say that I think that Sophia being able to manipulate Clara so effectively is one of the things that ultimately is going to, because it's not just Clara. Clearly, other people, I think Clara is just the tip of the iceberg. Clearly, other people in the town are experiencing that same silent but important communication. That is, you know, I'll get you home. All you have to do, and then whatever it is, right? And so I'm assuming that we are going to see more of that, because let's go into after Sophia sends Clara over to the clinic and gives Fatima the drink with her blood in it, which I'm assuming is the same thing that, or close to the same thing that they gave to Henry. It hyper accelerated Fatima's descent into whatever she's changing into. So, I mean, and I'm so sorry that we only got just that little bit of Fatima. I fear that something very terrible is about to happen to her. Like very terrible.
Yeah, I feel it too.
I mean, maybe in some way it will end up being a good thing, like as in like she'll be able to save somebody, but I don't think Fatima can continue on as she is. Um so after that happens and then Clara, kind of disappears a little bit and then ends up after the scene at Colony House, which we'll get into. She goes back to the diner to tell the man in yellow, hey, it's only going to be Jade and Tabitha that are going to go into the tunnels. I noticed for the first time ever since I've seen the man in yellow or Sophia act like this was an actual crisis. Like, oh, for the first time, I'm actually not in control. I have to figure out a way to get back in control.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Did you catch that? Did you feel that too?
Yeah, definitely.
So knowing that, it definitely made me like, ooh. And the only reason I think that Sophia didn't just like quickly run out to try to handle what she needed to handle was because Elgin brings the picture in. And in the picture, there are, which I definitely want to talk about, there's a couple, and then there is Sophia in the background, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to remember that at the beginning of this, at the beginning of every one of our episodes, there is a depiction of a black man and a white woman. And I always just assumed that was Elgin and Fatima, but maybe it's not. Maybe this picture is something that is a little bit more in line with what we just saw. I don't know. But the interesting thing is, first of all, Elgin, eagle eyes, good job. Secondly, that she says, that Sophia says, yeah, the reason that that, or that you think that is me, is because it is. That's me. And and then she immediately tells him, I can only take on the look of somebody who has died here before. So that probably isn't the man in yellow. That's probably Sophia before Sophia was subsumed by the man in yellow. But it also made me think, I sure hope that Sophia isn't about to turn into Elgin.
Ooh.
I mean, didn't you think it was strange for her to say that to him? Like, she didn't have to. She could have just been like, oh man, I'm really sorry that you saw that. See you, bye.
Well, they could have, she could have potentially said, oh yeah, that's crazy. That does kind of look like me. And then
right?
just moved on. But that wasn't gonna happen.
Clearly. It makes me think that, like, okay, maybe there is, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but it definitely has me worried for Elgin. I mean, I think Elgin is going to die. I just think he's going to die.
I know. Last season, he gets tortured.
Yeah.
This season, I mean, and when he saw it, it shows you how not bright I am. When I saw it, I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna put it together and he's gonna go tell the group. And then he went right to her. I was like, oh God. I don't know. I was hoping that he was gonna be like, oh, but see, they don't share the information.
No, none of them
more information, because he may not even know about. Does he even know about the man in yellow? That he could be one of them and all of that stuff.
No,
they don't share information.
No,
it's like this episode. Julie finally tells Tabitha that she's seen the man in yellow, right? And it's like, you could have said that like a long time ago, like.
There's a whole bunch of memes out there that basically say, hey, if I ever get stranded in Fromville, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that everybody talks to everybody else.
Right.
Like, we are opening a group chat, and I don't care how crazy it sounds, we're all going to say, hey, this really crazy thing happened to me. Has this happened to anybody else?
Yes. It is so, but to be honest, a lot of shows do that thing where they don't share information, because that allows it makes it easier from a writing standpoint if some people are in the dark.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and also I do think that just personally, I think that one of the things that the town does is that it works when things are obfuscated. It works when that obfuscation gives people just enough hope to make things work, but not enough information to make things dangerous. Because, we know, based on the saying in the barn, there's a price to be paid for collecting knowledge. This is part of the town's premise. So I think the town works hard to suppress information in whatever means possible. And some of that, I think, is sharing information. But yeah, because it wasn't until Donna and Boyd actually started working together that they got anywhere. And the only reason that Donna and Boyd started working together is because Father Cautry died.
Right.
So, I mean, we could be moving on in this place without any of that, because, and that's one of the reasons that I also think that From is so uniquely written in the way that, like, little incidences along the way, it's not that they just mean a lot. It's that the story dominoes that have to fall in all exactly the right method and way. Some of this stuff was set up like in season 1, and the domino is only just falling now. And that's kind of brilliant. I mean, that's not writing behind the event. That's writing the event knowing that the payoff is going to be later, which is just, it's astounding to me. So Sophia, we know, is, okay, Elgin, sorry, but yeah, whatever. Your time is probably done. I'm going to feel sad next episode. But the next part of this, oh, wait, let's just talk real quick about Sophia and Clara, when Sophia says, you should have told me sooner. Doesn't that sort of tell you that maybe, like, the man in yellow really doesn't know everything?
Oh yeah, for sure. Which I love too, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
I love that he's not all knowing and all of it. You know what I mean? Because
despite the fact that they had a connection there, he still didn't know. He didn't know. Which, yeah, that's kind of good. And also, in case you didn't see it, Sophia was actually actively sabotaging the rope ladder.
Yeah.
So that part in the diner where, she's able to turn on the music and all that stuff, she wasn't fixing the rope ladder. She was sabotaging it. That was super interesting. And it kind of makes me think that, like, maybe because she sabotaged the rope ladder, now she's going to have to, like, go back to the place where the bones are, because I don't think that she wants Jade and Tabitha to die. If she did, she could have killed Tabitha out at the bus, or the man in yellow could have. I don't think that they want them to die, which means that little sabotage trick, that might have cost them something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I guess we'll find out. So, Tabitha is sitting on the porch with Ethan, and Ethan is telling her the same thing basically that Boyd sort of experienced when he saw Donna having a heart attack, which is, listen, you have to have faith in yourself. Do it. Have faith. Do what you think is right, because that's probably the way forward. And in that moment, Tabitha sees the Onkui kids who stand in front of her and point at her. And from that, she gets the message that it has to be her and Jade. And she notices that on the talisman, there are two people. And she interprets that as, here's Jade and this is her. And that means that she has to be the one to go into the tunnel with him. I loved that scene. I don't know why I loved it so much, but I was really impressed by that. What did you think?
No, I definitely enjoyed it as well. Because we know. Oops, sorry, I don't have myself on the screen. We know that they are connected in a certain kind of way, and they were fighting it, or she was fighting it, more so, and then now you see them coming together. You see everything coming together. So I really thought that was pretty cool. How that all played out.
Yeah, I definitely did too. There's something very interesting about every time she gets a revelation. I'm always sort of astounded by the way that she's able to put stuff together, especially because it doesn't seem to me like Tabitha is that smart of a person. I mean, I feel like, I'm sorry, I don't mean it's about the actress. I just mean the character that is Tabitha just seems to be like always a little bit slow. But then when she gets it, man, it hits like a hard epiphany on her head, and 16 things all of a sudden make sense. So yeah, I just find that character is it's an interesting written character.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be honest, not one of my favorite characters.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
And like I said, it's not because of the actress. The actress does a fine job. It's just I don't know. It's just I don't like how her character is.
I think that one of the things that happens with Tabitha is that she's one of those characters that I don't know if she's actually supposed to be as likable as maybe some of the other characters are, but she is the most steady of all the characters in terms of growth. I mean, when she learns something, it matters. I mean, that's true for Jade too, but Jade's moments of, mad scientist, aha, it lives, are so few and far between that they don't feel like consistent growth. They just feel like, wild bursts of energy, which is very contrasted in the way that Tabitha learns things. Okay, so they head to Colony House. I mean, I guess we would be remiss if we didn't say that poor Boyd, man, he is still trying to keep everything together. And he even tells Christy not to tell Ellis about Fatima. And that really broke my heart. Like, more than anything, I just feel like...
You agree with that?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
I think Boyd is trying too hard to... He's like, well, the best thing we can do is get her home. But I don't think that is... I think maybe he's just in denial. But honestly, I can't imagine that he doesn't recognize that this is going to drive a further wedge between him and Ellis. I mean, that kind of secret is not the secret that you want to keep. It just isn't.
No, not at all.
So, I mean, I get that Boyd is just hyper focused on the task at hand. Let's just get people home. But I mean, he's gone from being like the quintessential doubting Thomas to being the Pollyanna of the town in less than an episode. And it kind of gives me whiplash. So not really sure how to take that. Let's take a moment and let's just talk about where Boyd started out this episode and how he sort of is toward the end of the episode. So he's still doing the thing. He's still doing the Mr. Fish and Loaves. But he, at the beginning, all of a sudden, Jade comes in and says, I'm going to go. And Boyd is like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And even Jade was like, well, what just,
Yeah, he was ready for a fight.
Did I just walk into something? It was funny. That was actually pretty funny. But then at the end of the episode, what do you think's going on with him? What do you think's going on in his head?
Honestly, that information that he got early in the episode about the Fatima, well, and that the more so the man in yellow being in the house, definitely put a battery in his back, and then now he's like, if this is happening, we gotta commit to something to try to get ourselves out of here, because if that's happening, this is only going to get worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that the last appearance by Father Cautry in the episode just prior to this really affected him, because what did Father Cautry said? It's never going to be perfect. It's always going to come with a risk, but this is what you signed up for. And I feel like that actually matters. Like that, he took that to heart, because this episode, he is just like, he's ready to rock and roll. So much so that he didn't even listen to what Victor had to say. I mean, I think in prior times, he might have at least listened. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but
yeah, I think he's one of those people that when he's committed to something, it just he's just sticks with it. Well, remember that thing I don't want to get into politics, but the whole flip-flopping thing,
Yeah.
Like, he's not a flip-flopper.
Yeah, he does. He seems to get very, I think that's actually what makes him effective. I'll tell you what my favorite Boyd scene of this episode was, and that was Boyd walking up and down the street with his bell, telling everybody to go inside. I will always have this almost nostalgic response to that, because it was one of the first scenes that we saw in the entire series, and it always brings me back to the origins and makes me this is Boyd. He's just trying to protect everybody best way that he can, trying to protect people. Okay, so Jade and Tabitha head down into the tunnel, and first of all, their idea for the tarp and the talisman, gotta love it. Hey, if it worked in the RV, it's got to work here, right?
And we don't know if it has or hasn't worked.
Well, we know it worked at the RV, and that window is completely smashed out, and so there was no barrier. So maybe tangentially that did work. I don't know.
Because they did stop at it.
Yeah, they did. But okay, hot take, very hot take. Part of the reason that I think that we, the audience, hear them say, this is going to work, it has to work, is the very thing. Once again, I will go back to Boyd and Donna. It is the same force at work when Boyd says to Donna, you don't get to die now. I want you to come back. This is what I believe it. I know it's going to happen. I feel like that's why we, the audience, hear every time they use the talisman that somebody says this has to work. It's going to hold. It's their belief that makes the talisman work, not the talismans. Like, they could hang up a, camping trip,
a banana,
a summer camp God's eye, that you make when you go to summer camp and stuff, and that would work because they believe it. But somebody has to sell you the belief these are going to work. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean.
So, and my guess is, and I feel this in my bones, Kinte, next episode, for whatever happens in the season finale, the talismans are going to come into play. I think we've spent a lot of time in this last episode on what they do and what they don't do. And I think that whatever they can do it's going to be tested in the tunnel, and then that is going to lead to something happening with the talismans. I don't know what, but something. But I also don't think we're done with Clara yet. I feel like the Man in Yellow is definitely going to use Clara for something more than just what we have seen him use Clara for. And then I think Clara ultimately is just going to die. Creature fuel for some future endeavor. That's what I would predict. But so they're in the tunnel. They have to, put up the tarp. They put the talisman up. They say it's going to hold, and then they lift up we'll just call it the tomb cover, the sarcophagus cover, and inside, absolutely just like Jade saw, there are the bones. And I don't know, what did you think about that? Man, that was hard. That was hard.
Oh my God, yes.
Especially when those are kids.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was something else. When I saw that, and I saw the bones, yeah, and they took that. I love that they took that moment to, I mean, it was a short moment, but they took the moment to just recognize what they were looking at.
Yeah, well, I think for the both of them, they feel it, like the gravitas of what's happening is astounding to both of them, and for different reasons. One, Tabitha's been trying to save them all this time, and for Jade, I feel like it is an absolute he recognizes that he can trust what he sees, that like too many things have happened that have come to pass that he has ignored, right? But then he listens to his instincts, he gets it, and it absolutely proves itself out. And again, these things are really important because it is 100% what you believe in this town that either keeps you safe or gives you nightmares. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens there.
Can I let me ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, we are just about 4 completed seasons in.
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy with the amount of information we've got so far, or are you disappointed? Do you wish that there's been more?
I go back and forth on this a lot. I love the storytelling so far because it is so unconventional, and because it doesn't feel like it is either following a linear path or, just like your standard, here's some flashback path. I mean, I don't want to compare this to Lost because it's not Lost, but it is Lost storytelling, right? It is
very similar.
It's all over the map. It's, lots of disconnected things, but wait a minute, actually they are connected. It's lots of theories, it's conspiracy, it's so good in its absolute chaos that sometimes it does feel, I think it feels like this to a lot of people in general, that we lose the narrative because we are not used to this kind of storytelling. This kind of it's not linear, and that's one thing. But secondly, this isn't passive storytelling. Like, you have to be engaged in the story to get it. You can't just watch this show and have it be spoon-fed to you. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, like, I get why people feel that way for sure, but I myself, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Do I think I would enjoy it also if it was just like a straight story? I mean, maybe, but I feel like I would miss out on so much. So I don't think I would want to go back and change anything. As frustrating as it can be to not have more answers, I also don't think I would want to have more answers because it makes the tiniest revelation feel so huge. And that's rare.
There are going to be people who, after the 5th season series finale, are going to say, you know what, I'm going to watch this show, and they're going to binge watch it.
Mhm.
And what took us 5 years or 6 years or whatever it's going to be, they're going to see it in a few weeks. And I'm really curious to the person. I would love to get like a couple of fans who watched it week to week like us from the
Uh-huh.
beginning, and then get people who didn't watch anything, knew nothing, and then watch it. Obviously, this will be in the future episode. People who binge watched it and just kind of get a difference in how they receive the show, because I can see this show being more accessible to people who binge watch it
Mm.
than versus week to week. Obviously, it's good for us. Podcasts go better when it's a week to week show,
Yeah.
because there's the build up and it's the natural breaks in between. Therefore, with so it's good for podcasting, a week to week show.
Right.
Because it's kind of hard when the show is available for binge watch from beginning to end a season, because they're doing it on their thing. So their time, everybody's time is different. How long it takes for them to get it. Yeah. So.
Well, I also think that if you binge watch this show, that although, okay, let me say it this way. I think you will miss a lot binge watching this show. I'm not saying that, I'm not advocating that you like take a million years to watch each episode or whatever, but part of understanding where this is going is letting information sit and percolate a little bit. Because if you binge watch it, you will not pick up on the little details that you can't. How much information can your brain actually process all at once? It's just different. It hits different. So
like I watched Lost from the day it aired to the finale.
Right.
And that show was so cool to watch it. I feel bad almost for people who binge watched it to a certain degree. And then, I mean, they didn't have to wait like we had to, months at a time, but because the conversation in between weeks, was really good. Just when a new episode would drop, and then you watch it, and then you have a whole week to talk with your friends, your coworkers, and all of that about it. It's just that was some of the best parts of it, was that week in between. And then, but then you talk to people, years later, and not just Lost, but other shows as well. And they just they talked about, oh yeah, I watched the whole 7-season run in like 2 weeks. You're just like, oh Lord. He's like, yeah, that was good. It's like, I was like, their experience, I'm sure some people, they just prefer that.
Yeah.
They just prefer that. They, like sometimes I'll let a whole season go by of a show that I'm interested in, just so that I can watch the whole season, binge watch it. You know what I mean? So it just depends on like how much I want to invest into a new show,
Right.
I think it helped because what From was that we both decided that we wanted, this was going to look interesting, from the trailers and whatnot. So we both kind of had that, like, what, let's plant our flag on this.
Right.
But it's
yeah, it would be an interesting well, I shouldn't say an interesting experiment, but it would be interesting because okay, so I've mentioned several times that I see a lot of really interesting, not necessarily like same instances, but it's like the flavor of, not the same ingredients, but the flavor of From in the show called Widow's Bay, right? And that's new. The Widow's Bay show is new. And that flavor of telling an unconventional story in so many ways that are just unexpected is, I think, one of those, like you even if you're not spending a lot of time on each episode, it is very interesting to me that when you have time to think about the show, you will make very interesting correlations between that show and other shows. That's why I say that this is very Lost storytelling, right? It's not Lost, and it has nothing to do with any. There's no world here that is close to what Lost was, and we know that it's not purgatory. So we're not
Lost wasn't
get there.
purgatory either. I think that's a misnomer.
I know.
That's a misnomer. Everybody thinks that it was purgatory, but that really wasn't the case.
I was just going by that interview that he did, that John did, and saying no, it's not purgatory.
It's so funny too, because I remember when that series finale of Lost ended, and I would have to explain to them, because I really paid attention to that show, that it really wasn't. But I could see why people would get that thought because of how the finale was. But anyway, this is not a Lost podcast. But
I think as we head into the last episode, though, it is interesting enough to me to reflect a little bit on some of the shows that tangentially touch on this kind of storytelling, because I think we're all going to be scrambling. Too. Yeah, Twin Peaks is a perfect one. Yep. We're all going to be scrambling for something to watch. So I want to leave the show with one further idea. And that is, this episode was called The Calm Before. Okay. And so I don't know what's going to happen in the next episode. I heard, did you hear that people had gotten their hands on the final episode?
No, I'm not surprised.
I look, I wouldn't go seek it out even if I could, because I want to be surprised. And, part of me is like, I don't know why you'd do that to yourself. That's just terrible, especially after investing all this time in it. But secondly, I feel kind of like, this is sort of, they put so much work into this that to me, it's a little bit like staying for some credits at the end of a movie. It's not that you're going to read everybody. It's just a sign of respect. But one of the things that somebody suggested about the final episode had nothing to do with the storm. And remember, from the very beginning of this podcast, or this series, this season, I have said that I thought that the end of the season was going to end in a storm. And I keep saying it's going to be a cataclysm, and I feel like it's going to be rain. I don't know if that's true, but I was so sad that we didn't even get a single thundercloud in this episode.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm starting to feel like my theory was, as always, incorrect. Still fun, but incorrect. Well, do you have any parting notes? Anything that you want to talk about from this episode that we didn't talk about?
I will add that you're probably gonna be so mad at what I'm about to say, but if I had an opportunity to see a perfect copy of the final episode, I would watch it.
Oh, you would?
I would I would totally watch it. I'd watch it. Why not? It's the last episode. It's not like I wouldn't read a spoiler about the last episode, but I would definitely watch the last episode, especially only if it was a great copy of it.
Yeah.
If it was a grainy, type copy, I wouldn't watch it.
I guess part of me is so old fashioned when it comes to series being spaced out, that even when something drops and it's the whole season drops, I still don't watch it all at once. Once again, I need time to let it sit with me. I need time to let it breathe. I need to think about it. I just need that mental space. But But for this show in particular, because there is just so much going on, I would not want to sit on all that information and miss out on that very fulfilled feeling at the end, like, oh wow, that was amazing, and actually be able to share it with everybody else, because also I wouldn't trust myself not to go blab about it elsewhere. So maybe that's why I wouldn't.
I would totally.
Yeah, see, this is why you should definitely be very careful.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about for this episode?
No, I'm just ready.
I think we covered everything. Yeah, I'm ready for the next episode too. I really, really am.
And if anybody can get me that last episode early,
you can send it to Kinte, but don't send it to me, because I won't watch it.
I would totally watch that right now.
Well, how can we find you on social media, and tell us about what is coming up for this week? Because I hear we've got a new episode of pilot season happening.
Yes. We do have a new episode of pilot season, and it is called it's the regular pilot season, where we're going to be looking at live action comedies and dramas. And our episode that we're going to be doing on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, is we're going to be looking at Sanford and Son, and we're also going to be looking at the premiere of dang it, help me out. Squid Game. Sorry. That's one of the worst.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. I didn't realize you were struggling.
Yeah. That's one of the worst. Like, I'm promoting my own show, and that was terrible. I'm so sorry. But no, we're gonna be doing Squid Game, and we're gonna be doing Sanford and Son.
So we've got a drama, and we've got a comedy. We've got something surreally in your face, hey, this is about every man, and we've got this is about a poor man and his junkyard, and man, we couldn't get two better. Those are great mixes. I like this a lot.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was so horrible. What about you? What do you got going on?
Well,
I can't talk.
It's okay. Brain freezes are allowed. It's not.
Thank you.
Not everybody has to work on 100%, 100% of the time. And I say that mostly just because my brain doesn't operate that way, so I have to give myself lots of latitude. Mm-hmm. I finally fixed the website moviesmakethemeal.com, and I'm slowly adding all of my recipes back. I hope you will join me over there. I do have a special section that I have devoted to From, which will include Ethan's short stack pancakes and some interesting vegetable stews that I think will make everybody happy. So I promise that I won't give any recipes for water that will give your weird worm thing, but I do have a recipe for Henry's drink, which has the man in yellow's blood, which I thought it turned out really good. It's disgusting, but it turned out really good.
Yeah.
So enjoy that, and I hope you'll join me over there. And I will also be on pilot season this Wednesday. I'm really excited about it, and we will see you next week for the season finale of season 4. Episode 10 of From. Really excited. I hope you'll join us.
Thank you for listening to Talking from season 4. Next time, we arrive at episode 10, If a Tree Falls in the Forest. The season finale, originally airing on Sunday, June 28, 2026. In this final chapter, Boyd's quest to lead the residents home reaches a terrifying crossroads, and nothing will ever be the same again. All season long, the town has been pushed to the brink. Secrets of deepened loyalties have been tested, and every answer has seemed to open the door to something even darker. Now, with the pressure at its highest and the stakes greater than ever. Everything points to a finale that could change the future of From Forever. So join us next time as we break down the fear, the fallout, the revelations, and the final choices that bring Season 4 to its breaking point. Presented by Indy Radio.